Hey everybody, JBuzzsaw79 here with Mage Wars. I decided I would start by showing things off for my Divine Priestess. So here I am on Octagon Builder. I'm just going to walk through the deck and we'll go from there. So for attack, I have two Luminous Blast in there and one Surging Wave. The Surging Wave mainly in there for two orders. One, sometimes if you're facing, I've noticed, locks or Force Masters, especially if they're running like buddy builds, they're more willing, I think, to put the move, sometimes a double move, and drop the forge, or single move up, drop the forge to the middle of the zone. If I want to kind of start moving that general direction, you get +3, so then it's 6 dice, even the 4 armor. You could possibly destroy it. So it's pretty easy with that. If not that, I also like it because it's unavoidable. So if you need to kill, generally I find it to be those damn asps that are out. This is a good card for that. And finally, the fact you can slam. If you want to deal with something, go ahead and slam it, possibly push it with the 8-up chance, which I think is decent. If you put this into a Siren, and she has initiative, that's, what is that, a 6-up? I think she has a +2 with the Hydro Ring. So you're talking, yes, 50% chance to both push and slam them. That's pretty interesting. Only 2 Luminous Blasts, because I think the Luminous Blast is better served in like the Priest. The second choice for me would be the Paladin. I guess maybe the Paladin first. Because when he does his challenge, he can go ahead and, pop Luminous Blast and then hit with the sword. So it gives him some options with that. The Priest is nice. In here, I tossed it only 2 of them just because sometimes if somebody comes into the zone, it's still an ethereal attack. So that's kind of nice. Conjurations, I have 2 Consecrated Grounds. Not really for healing. I find that Consecrated Ground should be mainly cast to me to disrupt other terrain generally. I would cast it more aggressively, but again, at that point, I'm trying to hurt other creatures that are non-holy. So, like, if they want to come stand on me, or if they're going to go in the back and sit into a zone and try to heal up or something, I think it's exceptionally useful then. Especially like with zombies or something. It just is really nice, I think, to kind of move stuff in and out of zones. So 2 of those. One-handed Bim. Bim is a utility card. I think that it belongs in almost every deck. When I first started, people kept telling me you have to play Dispel, Dissolve. Certain cards you have to play these because it's just, expected kind of. It's your staples. You always run like these 5 cards. Boom. The Hand of Bim is like that for me because, even in dark books you're paying triple, so you're paying 3, but the fact you can armor, melee, or heal is so useful. It's so worth it, and the longer it's out, the more I think it's not a huge spike in anything it does. It's just that you always can do something with it, which makes it a thorn in people's side. So I have paid triple to put it in a dark book. The Pillar, I think the Pillar is good. I think the Pillar is usually not worth it. I think that usually it finds its place sitting in a holy book rather than most other books. My phone, of course, goes off because that's just how things are every time I record. I think that it's important to be in certain books. Um, so that was my wife saying she's leaving her sisters. Sorry about that. So anyway, yeah, it just people that generally add it is adding it because like they try to tell me it's just so good. I don't think it's really that good because unless you set up for it, it's kind of horrible. It is good against stuff, but like if you have the force wave, you cast this and then you um, force wave everything. That could be something. Force wave all into the zone, especially zombies. But again, you have to set up for it. So in a holy book, it's not so bad because there's only 2 points. Now, non-holy books, to put it in there, I just don't see it being worth it. Like 9 times out of 10, because it's 4 spellbook points. I just think there's other things that are better off used generally. And it stays around for 3 turns, so it's like, okay, well, if you spend, like people are going to generally leave the zone. If they have to stay in there, they're prepared to counter it. So, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those really iffy gray cards. I think sometimes people get too carried away by just saying, "Yep, you had it." Similar to the like a Lucas Blast and stuff. There's just certain cards I think that are okay, and sometimes people get too wrapped up in numbers and not utility of it. Oh well. Temple of Asira. This is essentially a priestess deck no matter what. So Temple of Asira in here to give time for her to move around and cast spells and support after you cast off your vampire. 2 clerics for the temple. Keep praying so you can hopefully get at least 3 mana on it a turn. Meditating monk in here instead of the crystal or anything because it's 1 point. So why not? Dorcius, hit or miss kind of to me. I haven't decided yet. I think he's really good in this particular book. Just haven't found what kind of mix of creatures I want. I threw him in because in the tournament I thought, well, why not? And if I had played differently, I could have probably done really well. So I think he's useful because of the fact that he bypasses the finite life, sure. But more importantly, if you have like regeneration on yourself, let's say, you can regen, you can finite, you could BIM if you have, which I love the card, the Faith Healer's Staff. That's another up to 2. I mean, a Holy Mage with Dorcius, the Staff, and Hand of BIM can heal up to 7 around from themselves, which phenomenal. I mean, it's actually not as crazy as what people would sound like, which is why some of the cards are in here that I have in here. Aaron is a good card no matter what deck he's in. It doesn't really matter. So I think that's just kind of self-explanatory. First time I ever saw Aaron played in a non-holy book was in the ADMW last year. I forget who played it, but they played it in a Forest Master. They summoned Aaron, Megadon, and then they summoned Grimson. I mean, I thought, wow, it was just insane because you're putting monsters out. And at that point, this is before Academy, so he was playing triple. And I thought, wow, those are 3 really good monsters. So, not Westlock, because it's kind of a staple. He's very beefy. The 5 attack, yeah, lightning, but with all that armor, dodge is, like, I swear to God, that mathematically for me, some reason, dodges just don't seem to work, like, at all. I think what is like a 40%, yeah, I'd be lucky if I get 10. For some reason, like I roll dice very well sometimes, especially when here comes a crit. Not for that. 2 Guardian Angels. I wanted them to be in there, intercept, protect her, and kind of be that last line of defense with the Priestess, so she tries to support the front line. Brogan, because Brogan's really good. I generally like Brogan, in my opinion, more than the Blue Knight, only because both being unavoidable and piercing 3 that kind of nails anything that's out there. Yeah, you can crank up damage with the other guy, but this damage I feel is more consistent, and with the 4 armor, kind of better than Arendelle. So 2 Messengers of Bim, because why not? You can still summon those to heal. And again, this is a weird version of the book for those that did or did not watch it. It's all upon either the priestess, if she's close enough, will summon as like a last resort because it is a 4 dice heal and puts another monster out for dice, like in last resort. Or if my priestess is staying back, which is ideal play with this book, then I drop her to heal myself. So yeah. And of course, there she is, Vampirus. The whole point is basically turn 1, you drop her with Divine Intervention on her. And then the next round, you throw Lifelink on her. And then Divine Intervention her on top of the mage. Kind of put that early pressure on. And the idea is, for me, is to try to get her to last at least, honestly, 4 to 5 turns is kind of, to me, a minimum. Because by that point, you've put, ideally, the pressure right on top of the opposing mage. And then, since she has Vampiric on, ideally, if they summon stuff, she can heal. Unless, of course, they're playing zombies or something, and then you can't use that. But against most mages, this is a very good play. 2 armor, so she'll stay alive with 15 health. You kind of drain yourself out because it takes you 2 turns of setup, and then it takes you 3 turns after that to stabilize. So the idea is that she can draw enough hate that lets you stabilize and kind of rebuild the base and start putting out your other holy threats onto the board. So that was the last of the monsters. We'll go down. Here we go. Enchantments. There we go. So Divine Adventures, like I just said, expensive. It is epic, so you only get 1 shot at this. People do use it, obviously, for other reasons. So, but I figure dropping this on somebody, you got to kind of deal with the Vampirus no matter what. You can't really ignore her back there. Especially early goings if you have no armor on. I mean, you hit a mage for 5 dice. Ideally, you're getting, what, at least 3 to 4 damage a turn, ideally. You kind of have to deal with that. And then if they don't devote resources to kill her, she's on to cause problems. Restore is very nice. It's helped me once before. She was back there by herself, and they turned and hit the Vampirus with everything. And I activated this, and then the next round I followed up with a Bear Strength. So I hit for 7 dice. I got like 10 damage. I healed 5. And then I think I cast the Mend afterwards for another 5. So, I mean, she was at like 2 from death when I activated this and healed back 10. So it's like at that point, do you dispel this and waste an action to do so? Or, what? Really good card. 2 Brace Yourself. I think it's standard. Every mage, to me, should have at least 1 to 2 Brace Yourselves in every book. Bear Strength, because it's Bear Strength, it's always useful. It's only 1. Might try to move a second one in. 2 Rhino Hide, 1 for the Priestess, I think, and then a backup for whatever. Rhino Hide's really useful. Just another form to get some extra armor. Chant of Rage is nice. You only pay 2 for it, but if you can, like early on, if they try to ignore certain people, like the Knight of Westlock, for example, or if you want to move them away from the vampires, if she's taking like some heavy heat, for example, and you want to give her some time, or Guardian Angel, I can go ahead and chant them and have them move away, to do something. So 1 for right now is in there. Oop, there we go. Regrowth, as I've already said, I got 2 of those in there. Again, I need my priestess to heal herself for free, essentially, as much as she can. Healing Charm is in there because, again, I can throw that out on somebody, move back. Once I'm kind of in position, I want to stay away from everybody as much as I can. Eye for an eye. Might take it out, or take at least one out. The only problem with eye for an eye is the fact that you kind of have to set yourself in certain positions to take that heavy damage. If, let's say, somebody had a Healing Charm on, like hit me for eye for an eye, I activate Healing Charm with it. I can see that being something. The only time I've ever had with eye for an eye, I don't remember if it was this deck or not. Somebody had a Leviathan out, and I hit it for a decent amount of damage. And the next round, they attacked me, activated eye for an eye, and they took 14 to Leviathan. And I swung again to finish. So, Song of Love generally as a last retreat, you keep either somebody else alive if it's a 1-to-1 kind of thing, or myself. To nullify, this could be changed up. I don't know yet. Mainly, if I cut it or changed it, I would try to run some wards for the regrowth or Rhino Hide. Lifelink, as I already said. The Vampire to move 3 damage to myself. Blur, again, since we don't have the Cloak of Shadows, and this is a promo, of course, but Blur is nice. She can obscure herself at range 2 of the Vampire. And again, just sit there and support her. Critical Strike. I need to be able to pierce armor. Rust. If I can't pierce it, I should be able to remove it. Both of these are useful. So it doesn't really matter which area they're in. So, only 3 equipment cards. Ooh, here, Faith Healer Staff. I also run this and like this in my one Beastmaster book, because for him, it's a 5-dice weapon that for 1 mana can heal at least 1 health. So he can regenerate several a turn. The Druid, I think this staff is very much underused and underappreciated for what it does, and leaves you with another hand open for a wand or something. So I think it's really huge. Evil Claw, try to stop in case people push me, make them dissolve them at least. Meditation Amulet, I got it out, and ideally I'd sit there and meditate, but I don't know, it might be easier, I think, for me to cast a something else instead here to heal with. 3 Dispel, because I like to destroy support cards if I can. 2 Dissolve, to try to get through pesky things. 2 Minor Heal, again, especially for the Vampirus. A Priestess could really support a Vampire more than what I realized until I started going through certain things. Martyr's Restoration, again, is to me an interesting card. And the whole book kind of is built around this concept as like a thought idea thing. I read once on one of the forum spots, I don't remember where they had tried to say this was a sleeper. And for the longest time, I thought I only run 1 because of Aaron. I use the Temple to heal him 1. Next turn, I heal him another 1, cast Martyr's Restoration. And, one of the things I've noticed and realized is, I know, like, you can spend 5 to roll 5 dice to heal with the Minor Heal. But Martyr's Restoration is guaranteed heal 5, no matter what. And if you can heal between 3 and 5 a turn on yourself, this is really good. Another thing is, too, if you have Lifelink on a Vampire, you heal 3. Quick cast, you heal 5. She activates her turn. The Vampirus can always go from full to dead in a matter of a turn. And with 1 mana to activate Martyr's Restoration, you bank mana away to make other plays later. A hugely underestimated card with, like I said, Faith Healer Staff and Regrowth, and you obscure yourself. I think this is very dangerous. You also net gain 1 life when you cast it, because it is a healing holy incantation. And if you want to run with Cassiel, she can even cast this from herself. That's another thing too, because it gives her, this is a caster. It's Holy Mage only, but it doesn't mean that Cassiel can't cast it. Let's teleport too, just to try to move my stuff into better situations. 1 Purify can act as a null tester later on for free, because it's X. X can be 0. Remove Curse, because why not? I mean, you cast it, you can gain mana if you want. Those are both holy. 1 Teleport, because why not? And then finally 1 Force Push, because Force Push is really good. So, sorry, this took a lot longer than I anticipated, but there is my deck I used in the ADMW2 tournament. So look forward to some more decks coming out. I'll have them hosted here on Octagon. And once again, this is JadeBuzzsaw79. Thanks for watching. See you next time.